What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. I hope you guys are having a great week so far. Hopefully you guys are putting in that work in the gym and in your diet, just in every aspect of your fitness. In today's video, I want to cover one of the most asked questions when it comes to nutrition and your goals in the gym, and that is how to bulk. Now, everyone is constantly obsessed with bulking, cutting. They want to gain muscle as quick as possible. They want to get as shredded as possible, as quickly as possible. And yet, so many people don't understand the basics of nutrition and how to achieve those goals. So, in today's video, I'm going to go over my tips and the things I've done in the past that has caused me to see the best results when it comes to bulking, as well as making it easier to bulk. There's a million people out there that say, I want to bulk, I want to gain muscle as quickly as possible, but I just don't have the appetite. I just don't know what to eat. And hopefully this video is going to solve those issues for you. So, starting off with that number one question is, how do I eat more calories? We all know that to bulk or to gain muscle quicker, you typically have to be in a calorie surplus. And so the biggest piece of that is going to be eating more calories. Now, a lot of people that struggle to bulk struggle to get those calories up consistently. They think that eating one big cheat meal throughout the entire week is going to be enough to keep them in a surplus and keep them gaining muscle. However, that is not the case. The goal on a bulk should be a slow, consistent surplus. If you go out and have a cheat meal on one day, but then the other days you're actually in a calorie deficit or maybe just at maintenance, you're going to see trouble gaining weight and gaining muscle. So when it comes to actually eating more food, I want you to focus on eating slightly higher calorie meals, but keeping them relatively small. Frequent meals that are relatively lower in calories are going to help you eat more food rather than eating one huge meal of 2,000 calories and then feeling like you're so full you can't eat more food. So what I've done is keep the meals small, keep them simple. Ground beef, any ground meat, or just any protein source in general with a carb source like rice, potatoes, as well as a vegetable of some sort, broccoli, spinach, anything like that is good for you. Keeping them relatively small. I never do more than half a pound of meat per meal. However, I actually have recently lowered that to 6 ounces of meat per meal just because I've seen it kind of better appetite when it comes to that. You don't need that much protein in a single meal, especially when you're eating like 5 meals a day. And so currently I'm at 6 ounces of ground turkey per meal, as well as just a little bit of rice or a little bit of vegetables. I do about 1 serving of rice, which is 180 calories. And then one of my meals, I do 2 servings of rice, and that's typically a pre-workout meal. And that's gonna be about 360 calories worth of rice. So overall, these meals are not even pushing past 630 calories around there. So if you want to go on a bulk and you want to kind of hit that surplus, keep your meals relatively small. Keep them around 600 to 800 calories. And what you want to do is when you're at that point, you take that and eat 4 to possibly even 5 meals a day. If you're eating 5 meals a day of 700 calorie meals, you're at 3,500 calories. That is a very good number to consistently hit, and I promise you, you're going to gain weight. In fact, you're gonna gain muscle. However, obviously, if you're a lot bigger of a person, you have a lot more muscle, that number adjusts. As well as if you're a lot smaller of a person, you don't need as many calories to bulk. Maybe 3,000 calories would be plenty in order to gain muscle and just weight in general. But the standard is set. Try and keep your meals small, frequent, but also just really well balanced. It's better to eat 5 of those 700 calorie meals than one big Cane's bowl of 1,500 calories and then feeling gross and being skewed on your macros for the rest of the day. Another tip I can say is eat what you want. Eat things that you can enjoy eating in large quantities. Now, obviously, sometimes that's going to include fast food or sweets or anything like that. And when you have the goal of gaining weight, that's fine in moderation. However, we want to try and keep this to as simple whole foods in order to help us hit our macros. So your staple meals should be a protein source of your choice. Most people like ground beef. That's probably my favorite. So ground beef, rice, potatoes, anything like that, do what you can to make it taste good because that's going to help you eat more of it. And then when it comes to your carb sources, like say you want a little pre-workout snack, a cookie, a Rice Krispie treat, anything like that is fine. As well as like before you go to bed, you can have a protein ice cream or maybe just like a sweet treat of some sort in order to hit your macro goals. However, the core staple of your day should revolve around those main meals like I mentioned before. The number one mistake I see so many people make when it comes to bulking is eating too much junk food, eating too many sweets. And they think that in order to hit their calories, they have to eat those sweets, they have to eat that fast food. However, in reality, they might be hitting their calorie needs in order to be in a surplus, but because they're eating a bunch of junk food, their macros are really skewed towards carbs and fat. And when it comes to gaining weight, specifically gaining muscle, that is not what we want. We want to have a good balanced amount of protein as well as a moderate amount of fats. And then you want the rest of your calories to come from carbs in order to fuel your workouts, all that stuff. Another mistake I see so many people make is not doing their cardio while they're on a bulk. Now, so many people came up with the excuse that if you're doing cardio while on a bulk, you're just burning more calories and it's going to make it harder to gain weight. But in reality, and from what I've experienced personally, when you keep a little bit of daily cardio, it doesn't have to be anything crazy, but just walking on the treadmill for 30 minutes a day is going to increase your appetite more so than the actual calories you're burning. So in that 30-minute session, you might burn 150 calories, maybe 200 or even 250 if you're really pushing it. That 30-minute session, I guarantee you, is going to make you hungrier, and it is very easy to eat that extra 250 calories than it would be if you were very stagnant throughout the day and then you just don't really want to eat that extra food. Another thing is if you keep your cardio in, it's going to help keep the unwanted fat off. If you keep your cardio health like really high while you're bulking, it's going to help your body kind of process all the nutrients it's getting. If you are an active person, weightlifting as well as cardio is going to help your body utilize those carbs and that protein as efficiently as possible. However, a lot of people, when they cut out the cardio and they start eating in a surplus with all these carbs and just a lot more food, your body's going to think that it doesn't need those carbs in order to kind of function. And so what it's going to do is it's going to store those extra carbs as fat. And that's not what we want. We want the surplus of calories to help fuel more muscle growth, not just be in excess of carbs just to kind of be there, because your body is very smart and it will store those carbs as fat if you are not utilizing the carbs. The whole point of the surplus is to promote muscle growth. It's to promote recovery. If you are pushing yourself in the gym with those extra carbs and then you are letting your body use up the carbs and recover your muscles with the carbs, then everything is working properly. But if you are a very stagnant person who just goes weight trains and then they leave and they sit at a desk all day, or they lay on their couch all day and just eat in a surplus, your body's going to think that it doesn't really need 300, 400 grams of carbs. It's going to end up storing a lot of that as fat, and that's not what we want. We want to gain muscle. While bulking, we don't want to gain fat. Overall, that covers my main tips when it comes to bulking. I'm someone who honestly has never had trouble eating more food, and that's kind of why I wanted to make this video. Is a lot of these things, it's very easy for me to do, but I understand how it could be hard for some people. And so I just want to kind of give you guys the base level of knowledge of what the point of a bulk is and how to possibly maintain a bulk for a longer period of time. There's a lot of people I know that just hop on a quick bulk for a month, and realistically, you're not going to gain enough muscle in that month. You want something that is sustainable and something that you don't gain too much body fat from. Like I said, I've never had a big issue in this. I honestly struggle more with cutting in terms of just hunger, but that's why I made this video. I want you guys to kind of know my tricks, know how I'm able to gain so much muscle when I do these bulks, and honestly just make progress. If you guys have any questions for me, feel free to leave them down below in the comment section. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you guys have regarding bulking, cutting, anything like that. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe and tune in for more videos. I believe I'm going to be making a workout video here in the next few days. So if you want to see how I train when I'm trying to see progress and muscle growth, feel free to tune in for that next video. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Keep grinding, keep working hard towards your goals, and make people remember your name. Peace out, guys. I'll see you in the next one.